Hi dancers, it's Lina of Dance by Lina or Dance by Lina Dancewear, and today I'm here with Alessia, who was one of our ambassadors last year, and she helped out so much in the brand, and I enjoyed talking to her about this topic. And our topic today is going to be about machine washing your Gaynor Mindens. And I wanted to do this topic so bad because, well, I've hand washed them, and I remember asking around in a poll, like, what would you do, machine wash or hand wash? Most of the dancers did answer they do sometimes machine wash, but I got a lot of hand washing responses. And of course, I made a blog about it, which of course you can still check out. We'll pop it out here so you can see it. And you can click on that later if you wanted to watch it. But after that, I was really curious as to how things are, or how Gaynor Mindens exactly are machine wash. So today I'm here with Alessia because Alessia, well, as you know, was one of her ambassadors, also was a Gaynor girl last 2018 and 2019. And she has a lot of experience with Gaynor shoes. Like, I really enjoyed talking to her. She spent a lot of time with them talking about shoes as well. So maybe Alessia can tell us a little more about that.
Of course. Thank you very much, Lina, for inviting me. And I'm excited to talk about gainers. It's one of my favorite topics. As Lina mentioned, I've been a gainer girl, so I got to keep in touch with the Gaynor Minden people. And it was the year I was in New York to study ballet there. I had like a scholarship, so I was so lucky. I could practically go to the Gaynor Minden boutique almost anytime I wanted, and I feel I've learned a lot about Gaynor Minden punches there. So I just have something to say beforehand. Gaynor Minden does not recommend machine washing the shoes, but many dancers tried it before. I have tried it myself. So I'm here to just talk a bit more about my experience with machine washing. And if you decide to try it, please just be very careful and do it on all shoes. That's all I want to say beforehand.
Yes. I think that's a good note. Let's put insurance here, or
Yeah,
personal insurance. We're not saying you should machine wash them. We do know that they're not supposed to be machine washed or hand washed. It does say, it's, I think, one of the first things they mention in the sign, which is please do not wash.
yeah,
But I guess my curiosity came out of my shoes also getting really dirtied up. Gainers are really hard to clean compared to other shoes. When they get dirtied up, they just, like, it stains, and I can see like how hard it is to remove the
yeah,
actual content. And yeah, for me that was the reason why also I kind of decided, oh, I really want to wash my shoes because it's starting to stain the floor. And not only that, we all know that they kind of have a certain smell to them. And I know
oh, yeah.
Gaynor Minden users know this so well. When you start to use gainers and they kind of just, even if you air them out, they just kind of have this special smell.
Yes, definitely. I actually decided to wash them while my mom did. Just because they were sitting there in a corner of the house and they were smelling so much. You could feel it from like meters away. So that's the main reason why I decided to machine wash them. And yeah, it did help.
That's good. So okay, so maybe we can talk about, like, you talking about your machine washing experience and maybe your hand washing experience, whichever felt better, or what you would recommend as well.
So I'll just talk a bit about the machine washing part. I just picked up all my old pair of gainers and threw them in the machine on cold setting, delicate, like the lowest heat possible of the water, so it was almost cold water, and delicate. That's very important, I feel, because otherwise the machine runs very fast and can damage the outside of the shoe. I've heard of dancers putting them inside like their own little Gaynor Minden bags and then putting them in the machine, so it protects the fabric on the outside a little bit more. I personally did not do that. So I personally just put them in the machine and that was it. But I would actually recommend to place something like the little Gaynor Minden bag, put them inside them. It could be very helpful to protect the fabric a little bit more. So I just let the cycle end, and when they came out, they were super wet but super clean.
Mhm.
So they were damp. I let them dry, and I always recommend drying ponchos like upside down so that the water drains out of the box. Otherwise, if you put them like that, the water tends to sit down,
Okay.
and it can get very like it. The box can literally change the shape, and you don't want that to happen. So just always dry them upwards. I mean, they don't really have a direction, but in this direction, so that the water can drain. And after it took almost a full day of drying, they were very wet. But when I finally tried them on, first of all, the smell was gone, and they were super shiny, super clean. Um, the size did not change, the width did not change, but the shank got a lot softer, which does not really work well for me. I choose already like quite soft gainers, but I cannot really go any softer than that because otherwise the shoe pulls me
Mhm.
like out and it does not work.
Mhm.
So that's the only thing that changed. And that was my personal experience. I know that washing machines are different. So it might really depend on your settings or on the way your machine runs. But if you really want to try, just get an old pair of Gaynors that you don't really wear and pop them inside and
See.
just see how they come out.
Yeah, experiment, a little bit of
Yes.
experimentation.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's so nice to know. Like you used a cold setting and
The lowest cycles possible. Yeah.
yeah. But it's nice to know like how you're able to wash them. The only problem again was that they got really soft. I think that was the same case for me when I hand washed them. And I remember someone commenting on my YouTube channel, they were dying just watching me doing this. But I said, "Oh my goodness, they're old pairs anyway, so I really just wanted to know how they turn out." And I do agree with Alessia. If you want to try it out and you have old pairs of gainers, I think that's the best way to kind of do a little bit of experimenting if it's going to work out, especially old pairs, since you'll see the transition from it getting from the old look into the newer look. And you mentioned that the under part of the shoe also got a little darker.
Yeah. So I'll show you. This is a known wash shoe. Maybe you can see. This sweat part is a lot lighter and it got a little rougher and darker. It does not really make like a difference in the feeling, but it does make a difference in the look.
Oh, I see.
So that's just a tiny little detail. Yeah.
But then the feeling is not
No, it's not a big deal. No.
it's not rougher, it's not like smoother. No. Then I guess
Different.
I guess it works.
Yeah.
So this is a question by someone which is how often would you do this? So I guess
Well,
for me I would just have done it that one time because I was kind of bothered by the look. But then let's say you do use your gainers quite often, I'm assuming how often would you wash your shoes?
so for the machine washing, I wouldn't recommend trying it more than once on the same pair of shoes. I will probably make an experiment with this other pair since I don't really use it anymore. So maybe we can do another vlog, but I wouldn't recommend more than one machine washing because especially if the shank got softer already after one wash, then I don't want to imagine what comes next.
Yeah.
but but you can hand wash them. I think just gently with a little sponge and a little bit of like non-aggressive soap, and just make sure to stay on the satin. And when you go on the bottom part, just gently scrape it and like grate it away with a sponge. But try not to put water in the inside of the shoe so that the shank is not affected as much. And as usual, let them dry and that's it.
Yeah. Would you prefer machine washing or hand washing?
Oh, this is a tricky one. To be safe, especially with shoes that I'm still using, just to remember, this was a very old pair, did not use it anymore. So on shoes that I'm still using, I would hand wash, definitely. Especially since they're so expensive, I wouldn't want to just
Yeah.
waste a shoe. Maybe it does not turn out well. So definitely hand washing. But if it's a shoe that I'm still using just for strengthening work or for personal use, so not ballet classes or variations, then machine washing would be fine, equally fine.
That's a really good insight. I think you answered everything that we needed to answer today. But maybe we can talk about smell. So I got a lot of
Okay.
questions on this, and we were talking about it earlier already. What would you do about the smell? Because I'm sure that if you just wash it once, like the other times that you um, want to wash it but can't really wash it, you don't really have a choice but to use your shoes. Of course, it won't bother you when you're using the shoes, which is what a lot of dancers have been telling me. But for me, I'm the type of person who's really sensitive to smell. So I used to kind of remove my Gaynor Mindens away from everyone else because I would know that the moment I remove my shoes, that would not be the most pleasant smell ever. And I just don't want them to suffer the smell of like the Gaynor smell. I don't know. Especially in our company. I don't know. I don't think anyone else watches this, but maybe they do. But I remember there was this one girl. She was, I kid you not, all the way across the room, and her feet, you could smell them from all the way there, and we knew that she was. Oh my gosh, yeah, she uses Gaynors, right? And we knew the smell.
Yeah,
It's the same smell for almost
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. I definitely agree on that. I had so many problems with smelly gainers, especially since so they are a very like different material and you sweat a lot in them. Especially if you in the new European made gainers, you sweat even more. So for the smell, there's actually quite a lot you can do, and I've learned that recently. So I put a little bit of tips into practice. The first thing that I feel like recommending is using talc, like just baby powder, inside your shoes before and after using them. First of all, it makes you sweat a lot less. And second, it gives your shoes this kind of minty flavor
Oh,
so that it's not as like bothering.
yeah.
They still smell a little bit, but not as much. Then the second thing, of course, let them dry outside whenever you can. Air dry them just
As much as you can.
whenever you can. Yeah, and it does not really, you feel that maybe it does not really make a difference at first because they still smell, but actually it really does help if you combine air drying with the baby powder. And also don't ever store them in plastic or not even their Gaynor Minden colored bags because that is the worst. It just makes them moisture inside their horrible smell. So this is the third thing, and I have a fourth tip. There's actually Gaynor Minden makes some. I didn't get them, but there are point shoes inserts. They're made with some kind of material that takes
Absorb
the
moisture.
absorb the moisture. So you can just get one of those, or if like for example you just don't want to get something new, when you get just regular shoes, you get those little white pockets.
Ah, yes, the
That
silica gel.
yes, the circuit gel, and just get a bunch of them and put them inside the
Put them in.
shoes overnight or whenever you don't wear them, and that helps a lot. Also, if you can alternate between like two pairs of gainers or two pairs of point shoes, so that they have the time to really dry out. Actually, you're supposed to let gainers dry for about 48 hours, which is quite impossible on like a regular
Yeah.
dance schedule. But if you get two pairs of shoes, then you can just alternate in between pairs. The shoes will last longer and smell less. So that's quite
That's a
convenient.
really, really good tip then, yeah. I note this to my kids, but I know how shoes are so expensive, which is often why when you're starting out, a lot of parents, I'm sure, know this. They hardly want to buy two pairs of shoes because they don't know like how much their kids would use it. But I do really recommend it also because I have benefited so much from having at least two pairs of shoes, alternating with each other, not just with the smell, but also with how long that your shoes last. They last you a lot longer. Having two pairs doesn't mean you'd kill them two times at the same time anyway. So it's really good to invest into. And I do have some experiences where my one shoe was a little harder, even if they were the same kind of shoe. I don't know if it's affected by how you use them or the weather, probably. We never really know. So I do really do like that last tip where you recommended getting at least two pairs. It's really important.
Yeah, yeah, especially if you're very sure about your like shoe size and all the details,
Mhm.
then you're sure you're going to use the shoes. Definitely don't get two pairs if you're getting your first pair of point shoes or if you're trying a new shoe. In that case, I just recommend, okay, get one, try it out, and then if you like it, maybe get another one. Sometimes there are discounts if you get two pairs. So maybe you can check that out with the store, or if you get them online, just ask for like current promotions.
Mhm.
So that might that might be useful.
Yeah. Oh, but that was so good. So I guess that's most of the questions already for today. But it was so nice to get your insight, Alessia. I don't think I would have been able to kind of answer all of these as well. I've never really tried machine washing. Everyone knows this. I've tried hand washing them. And I do switch from gainers to frees, which is also what Alessia has been trying to do. But we all know why we use Gaynor Mindens, and it's also because they last. They're great, but like the humidity in this country just does not support any other shoe but Gaynors. So for us, this is why we do this.
That's tough. Well, for it was first of all so nice to talk about point shoes. It's literally one of my favorite topics. And also about like yes, I'm using currently both gainers and frees. Just want to get one thing real quick. Gainers are great for all the articulation work, especially if you get one of the soft shanks. So you can make sure to strengthen your feet, do all the exercises in them, and then maybe use a more traditional shoes for like your variation classes or anything where you need like a bit more control over the shoe. Since with gainer movements, you cannot really make your foot mold the shoe.
Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite. But especially if you live where humidity is a huge problem, gainers are great if you need to get your feet stronger and you don't want to kill shoes. So
That's a really good topic. Maybe not for today, but I think that we can talk about so many things about how traditional
yeah,
shoes are nice. And, there's always this debate about which shoe is better. And I often get
yeah,
asked this because I am, of course, being a ballet teacher, that's the first thing every person would ask me is, why don't people use Gaynor Mindens? And I don't know how to answer this because I do have experience using Gaynor Mindens for the longest time already in the company. In fact, when I used them, there was only two colors back then. Like we only had yellow and green. So you'd have to kill them on your own. Like you'd have to get them soft on your own. So we were, I don't know, I was dancing during the time when there were only those colors. And well, it's so nice that everyone has all these options now, like they're the perfect points, and they're also like all these other things, like the gainers and all kinds of shanks and colors that I've never tried or seen before. And then, of course, they're the traditional shoes. But it was really great to have you, Alessia. And I feel like I learned so much. I'm gonna go try them out because I have some smelly gainers here. And yeah, do you want to say anything before we finish this?
just thank you very much. I had a lot of fun talking to you, and it was so nice to be on your video.
I'm so happy that you did this with us. And again, you can all check out Alessia's Instagram handle, and she has a lot of great content. I enjoy so much like reading her articles, which she also wrote with for the ballet back then. And she has her own like really personal stories sometimes, and like I really love them so much, Alessia. So yeah,
Okay.
I hope you enjoyed, and again, don't forget to follow our website and everything else. And we'll see you till the next time. Bye.